I've been asked to speak tonight on the theme of justice for all. Let me start by saying that this phrase has always struck me as more aspirational than empirical. That is, it expresses a hope of what we can be rather than a description of what we are. Justice for all remains such a lofty goal, almost such an impossible goal, that a society can be forgiven for not quite achieving it. What's far less forgivable is not striving to achieve it and not devoting our efforts and resources toward it. Now, issues of gender and justice are not just confined to politics. The wage gap is shrinking, but it's too big. We're getting better, but I really don't think we've resolved the challenges of enabling women to combine having both children and a career. Our country is still not past the ramifications of the original sin of slavery. Too many African Americans are killed by the police, as we saw this summer, and we remember their passings with sorrow. How many people, including some very prominent and successful people, get pulled over for driving while black and then watches these confrontations escalate? If you don't know you can do the kinds of things you want, you'll just keep stopping at the gate and walking around another way. Leap the gate. There is no more important task for you as students than to learn these lessons, internalize them, and act upon them to make justice for all a guarantee and not just a goal.
The question of how much works of art, and perhaps especially works of art for young people, such as children's books, do and should reflect the cultures and societies in which we live, and how much they should seek to change, ideally improve, our societies, remains a pressing and controversial one. Literacy is a justice issue, particularly when the children who cannot read are typically the most oppressed and socioeconomically deprived. The publishing industry as a whole, including the sales and publicity teams and executive departments, is 79% white, 78% women, 88% heterosexual, and 92% non-disabled. In discussing these statistics with Minnesota Public Radio, children's and young adult author Matt De La Pena notes that these percentages are problematic because, as he says, everyone has blind spots based on their experiences. But when an office is filled with people of diverse backgrounds, they can cover each other's blind spots. Change happens at the individual and at the societal level. People are trying to change the culture and business of children's literature in order to change the lives of more individual readers, who may in turn then change their societies and these societies' values. As readers, our job is to let the books inspire us so that we can be our best selves. As adult readers, our other job is to make every effort to have a multitude of different stories to ensure that future readers will find the right book at the right time to inspire them.
In 1966, at a Chicago press conference in connection with the annual meeting of the Second National Convention of the Medical Committee for Human Rights, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhumane. American healthcare is complicated, fragmented, and inadequate. There are too many barriers, too many biases, too much consistent research indicating that people of color and people who are vulnerable in some way, disadvantaged individuals, receive less optimal health care and achieve less optimal health outcomes. The problem of abuse, misuse, and diversion is prevalent in American society. Pain and addiction can be, I would say, very challenging co-occurring disorders. Almost always, quality pain care requires individualized treatment that is holistic in nature, that looks at interdisciplinary and integrative care, and addresses the mind, body, and spirit of the person experiencing pain. and experiencing pain in the context of his or her community. Regrettably, most people with pain don't receive this kind of care at all, despite some of the gains that we have made. They don't receive this type of pain care. Why don't we care more about this? Our ethical mandate as social workers, service providers, concerned community members, university community members, is to do something, not stand by, but to do something in whatever way we find helpful for ourselves. Every voice counts.